Hello everyone who is watching our YouTube live stream or the recording of this week's growth call. I'm Christoph Atteneder and I'm your host today. As always, I already posted the Google Hangout invitation link in the chat on the left and also on Slack. If you follow us there, so you can join us here in the Hangout, or if you just want to watch the live stream, feel free to post your comments and questions in live chat, and I try to monitor it as close as possible. Our growth calls, like the one today, are about everything that helps to grow the Bisq network itself. So if you don't know it by now, Bisq is the only true decentralized exchange to exchange fiat with cryptocurrencies or crypto with other cryptocurrencies. So if you're interested in more details, please have a look at the introductional video on Bisq, which I will link in the description below after the call. Today, as I posted already on Twitter, I want to talk about the outcome of last week's Market Kickstart Day, which was a great initiative by Felix. I will go afterwards into more details how to get compensated as there were some questions or misunderstandings. Of course, we try to answer all your questions on the way. So I would say I'm not losing any more time, and I will switch to the slides now. Just give me a second. So hopefully you can see my screen now. I will click to present everyone. Peter, can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so we ran the event last Thursday across all markets for one day to try to get as many offers on Bisq as possible. So we had our internal goal. The goal was to reach up to 300 offers at the same time, which is of course quite a challenge. As I think the peak we had in the past was around 190 offers at the same time. So let's see where we ended finally. That was the Offbook. I think Felix posted it on Slack. So we came quite close, but obviously people took more existing offers than expected. So I experienced it firsthand myself. So it was quite a challenge to keep your offers up all the time. So sometimes I just put out an offer and it was taken in five minutes later. So it was quite a challenge to keep these offers there. So we reached up to around 260 offers at the same time, which was far higher than all other peaks we had before. So that was a success. We didn't reach our 300, but what changed a lot was the trading activity itself. So I will switch. So if you're looking down there, you can see the chart of all markets within September. So we have these two spikes you might be able to see. The last spike is the one from the 20th of September. So what was outstanding was that we had 104 trades in total, which was our absolute peak of all time. So we didn't have we didn't have more trades than that. And 53 Bitcoin was traded in total based on the volume, which was also one of our highest volumes, which was traded. So that was a great success. And it was not only that we had lots of trades on markets like Monero, which are quite strong. It was across the board. So in euro and dollars, I think it was British pound, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars. So it was a good mix also on the altcoin side. And it was a great success. So and the interesting part, of course, you see it was we see the spike, and then the spike goes down again. So we had some follow-up trading activity on the next day, but then it cooled off, and it looks a little bit as if we are back to normal on the trading, on the total trades that are done. But if we look at the offers that are available on the market, which is the interesting part. So I just took the screenshot a couple of hours ago today. and we see we're still around 230. I think we had even 240 today. So we are far beyond our other peaks of 190, which is quite awesome, because we have now this kind of offers on a daily basis. So there's lots of offers to be taken for people who just want to try out Bisq for the first time, which is really great. So it looks, so at the moment, it really looks as this Kickstart day convinced a couple of people just to stick around, have some offers out there to be taken, and that's really great news. From my perspective, that was really, really great. So from that point, thanks to everyone who participated. If you don't know it, everyone who put out offers during this kind of marketing activity we did is up for compensation for Bisq. So we said everyone who participates is up to get 10 BSQ tokens as a reward. So there were some misunderstandings how to do that exactly, because the voting period for this month is approaching. So I want to quickly guide you through the process if you took part in this activity to claim your 10 BSQ tokens. For that, I will switch again to my browser window. So let me see, where is it? Yeah, here we have it. So yeah, you should see my browser window. I will just quickly switch to it. Yeah, so that's the compensation repository in our GitHub domain. If you look on the top, if you go to github.com Bisq network compensation, there is a section issues, and that's the place where all compensation requests are put out there. So you see on the bottom there are a couple of compensation requests for September, and there are also already some September kickoff day participation issues. So let's jump into one of, for example, Clearwater Trust. So it's quite easy. What you need to do is you click on new issue. Then there you have a template where you see what you need to put there. So there's the Bisq requested. So you want to have 10 BSQ token. Then the Bisq address. To get your Bisq address, it's quite easy. For that, I will start in the background just quickly my Bisq client. Just give me a second. At the moment, the Bisq DAO section is hidden by default. So to make it visible, you have to click a shortcut. For Macintosh, Mac OS, it's a Command D. For Windows, for example, it's Control D. So I will now switch just quickly to my Bisq client, so I can show you how to get this. So now you should see my Bisq client. So if I click Command D, you see on the right there is this Bisq DAO section, and if you click on it, you see there your Bisq wallet address, and that's what you need to copy. So you just copy the wallet address from there, and now I switch back to the browser window again. And then you just paste it in here. So what then it would be then for the rest, the best thing I would say is you just look at the existing issues, like for Clearwater, just write, okay, contributions delivered was participating in September market Kickstart day. Of course, it would be great if you don't mind to put some of your comments on your experience, if you had any issues, what payment methods you traded, yeah, just so we get some feedback if we can improve stuff within the client, or just also for this kind of marketing activity. And yeah, and if as soon as you have done that, that's all you need to do. You just have to wait for the next voting period, which will be from the 1st to 3rd of October. So during that time, everyone who owns already BSQ tokens is able to vote for your compensation request. And if more than 50% of the people who vote for your request, then you will get your BSQ token. So that's how easy it is. Of course, I can quickly show you if you're interested, a more sophisticated compensation request. Well, let's say not too sophisticated. Let's go into one from Felix. So Felix is co-hosting the growth calls every now and then. He organized the Kickstart day. So in his case, he requested 500 BSQ tokens, which is more than reasonable. So actually, it's too low for what Felix has done so far. Yeah, that's actually everything you have to do. And sometimes, if contribution reaches a certain amount of volume, so let's say we have this month the case that Joachim is asking for compensation for the iOS and Android app that he created, where you get mobile notifications from your Bisq desktop application. So if you connect your mobile app with your desktop app, you can get notifications for your trading activity. So if an offer is taken, if the fiat money was transferred, so you don't have to sit in front of your PC all the time. You can just keep the Bisq desktop app running, and then just have your mobile phone with you, and you can go back and continue trading. Of course, that's just notifications at the moment, but we will try to, especially as soon as the API is released, which might also be within the next release, mid of October, we will slowly increase the capabilities of the mobile app, which will be more and more interesting. So, but what I wanted to point out, if we have such a bigger compensation request, so Joachim is asking for 25,000 BSQ tokens, then it makes sense to put it at least a week or so before the voting period, because there is normally discussion if it's reasonable. Because if you just post this kind of compensation request very shortly before the voting, then the chances are quite high that it will not be voted for, and you might then to resubmit it on the and maybe change the value for the next voting period. So it's in your interest to be proactive and get feedback and keep the discussion going if the amount is reasonable, or if you might just need to change it a little bit. So that's for the market kickstart event, and for how to get compensated. I will quickly switch back to the slides again. Just give me a second. So let's skip that. So you should see my slides again. Yeah, I also promised to give you a little sneak peek on what's going on with the new release 0.90, which will be released sometime around mid of October. So besides getting the API, the Bisq DAO code for testnet, Java 10 support within this release, there will also be a redesign. And if you not followed very closely the work Pedro has done on the design front for Bisq, I will give you a quick screenshot what to expect with the Bisq client. So that's the first iteration. How it would look like. That's actually a real screenshot of the current state of the redesigned branch on Git. So you can we release work in progress binaries every 1 or 2 weeks. So you can try it out, install it in parallel to your Bisq client, play around a little bit, give feedback if there are any issues. It's really looking nice from my point of view, and it will be a big step from the old client. Of course, lots of stuff changes, but we try to keep the structure as close as possible with the old client for the first iteration, and the second iteration might introduce bigger changes. But yeah, just that you have an idea in what direction the Bisq client is moving. So yeah, of course, if you want to get updates and notifications on all our video live streams, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can always either ask now in the chat or just write it in the comments, and we try to answer it. I will now quickly switch to the chat and look if you have smashed the like. Yeah, regarding video tutorials, so we do have some. So Neon is asking on a video tutorial for buying Monero and with Bitcoin or vice versa. So we do have trading videos, I think, for buying US dollars with Cash App. We have a video for buying British pounds with faster payments, I think. So there are bounties out there. So if you have some experience, for example, if you are watching this and you are trading Monero with Bitcoin every now and then, just make a quick screencast, post a video on YouTube, have a look at our existing videos, and you're up for compensation as well. So every tutorial video helps, especially people who are new to Bisq and haven't seen this whole process once. And yeah, that's a big plus, and it brings value to the network, and that's also the reason why it's up for compensation. So for me personally, also the first time I tried out Bisq, it was kind of, yeah, you don't know, will it work? It's completely new. At least for me, it was quite new. So it gives some comfort if you see a video first. Okay, these are the steps. That's what you should expect during the trade. So so it makes it way more easier to do the first trade. You always need a deposit. Yeah. At the moment, not at the moment. Also, to trade on Bisq, you need Bitcoin already in advance to pay the deposit, which is a kind of assurance that people follow the trade protocol. As if you don't follow the trade protocol and the trade goes to arbitration, it can be the case that your deposit is confiscated. But normally, if the trade goes through, the parties transfer the cryptocurrencies or fiat currencies, then the deposit is just released and paid out again, and everything's fine. Are there any questions from the audience watching us live? Or Peter, do you have any remarks or questions?
I don't have any questions. Maybe just one thing. Sorry if it's a silly question, but I can see that there are some stable coins that are coming, and I wonder what's your plan for the stable coin supports in terms of trading Bitcoin to stable coins. If you can shed some light on that.
Regarding stable coins, Manfred had some idea or some concepts when we released the BSQ token, how this also, if it's possible to have also kind of a stable coin version of it. to make it more easy to prevent this volatility. But I think at the moment it's not on the roadmap. You mean to trade stablecoins in general? I think it's like any altcoin. So anyone could create a pull request that we introduce this coin, and yeah, it's up to be traded. At the moment, we have, I think, 25, 30 pull requests open for new coins to be added to the Bisq client. They were delayed because we had a proposal, or we still have a proposal ongoing. If there should be a kind of a fee to get introduced, as it's more workload, more and more workload to check and validate all these pull requests. But I think today there was a recent. I didn't have the time to watch latest comments from Chris Beams on this topic, but I think that we will go back, that we just accept any pull request for new coins if they follow the information, the guide on our docs docs site. So we will not have any fee. So it's just a matter of implementation detail. It's very little effort. There are some requirements. You need to have also a block explorer for the coin. But besides that, it's really easy to implement for a developer.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there are, let me check. Arbitration on face-to-face. Yeah, the arbitration for face-to-face transaction arbitration. So that's it's to do arbitration on that. It's nearly impossible. So the two parties have to agree somehow to solve this. If they don't agree, then the deposit is locked until they agree. Because yeah, it's hard to have real proof on money exchange, and yeah, it's not possible to do good arbitration for face-to-face trade, unfortunately. Neon is asking. Yeah, Neon is pointing out, yeah, if you don't have any Bitcoin available, it's hard to trade on Bisq. It really depends. I can just speak for example, for Austria. There are lots of possibilities to buy your first Bitcoin in a way that you don't have to register on a centralized exchange. For example, you can go just to a post office and buy with cash a Bitcoin in Austria, or we have some Bitcoin ATMs as well. So you can just try to get little Bitcoin to be able to pay the deposit and the transaction fee, and then you can buy on Bisq immediately. So you just need to buy your first Bitcoin. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no real good way around. We had some, I think in the past on the forum, there was kind of a bit lending market. So people were just borrowing Bitcoin to people to pay the deposit. But unfortunately, of course, yeah, some paid it back, some not. So I'm not sure if it's really ongoing at the moment. But yeah, I would buy the first Bitcoin at somewhere else, and then switch to Bisq for buying big amounts. Third and second world break. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, maybe Neon, you have more experience in third or second world countries on the possibilities to buy cryptocurrencies without centralized exchanges. But yeah, if there's no possibility to buy a first Bitcoin, then it will be quite hard. But I think it should be possible. I just know from in Asia, there are even in kind of second world countries, there are a lot of possibilities to acquire your first Bitcoin without any registration. Okay, if there are not any more questions, I just want to point out Manfred is also having a live video at the moment on World Crypto Network. So you can just switch over to the next video stream and watch the recording there as well, if you haven't. So if not, thanks for watching, thanks for participating. We have some more comments, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. The high fee problem with Bitcoin, we did. Raimondas is pointing out that of course, if the Bitcoin mining fee just skyrockets again, which we had in the past, it's an issue because then you have to pay quite a lot of money to do all the transactions. We had implementations for that with Dash and Litecoin as a base currency to work around that. At the moment, they are deactivated, but we have plans to completely maybe go off-chain and just have Bisq bonds, which is kind of the security. But I don't want to get into too much detail because first, I'm not so familiar with the idea that Manfred just pointed out. But there's a proposal. I will link it in the description where everyone who is interested can read through and give comments. What we could do if the Bitcoin mining fee skyrockets again. But good point. Okay, so thanks for watching, and we might have next week a special growth call again. Manfred did last week a special presentation of the Bisq DAO, and he will now on further presentations will go one step deeper and is explaining some technical details on the Bisq DAO. And yeah, if you're interested, just subscribe and you get notified as soon as it's live. So thanks for watching and see you again latest next week. Yeah, and thanks Peter for joining in. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.